Hi, my name's Kylie Dorton. I'm an interface engineer here at SOLTECH, and today we're going to talk about Google Firebase. I first started looking at Firebase in 2012, actually when it was released, and I've been following it ever since. Basically, it was started by two guys in San Francisco, James Tamplin and Andrew Lee, and they started it out with the idea that they could create a really fast way to share data in real time and keep a bunch of different clients in sync. So mobile phones who needed a chat application was their first implementation of Firebase. So eventually they realized that they could do a whole lot more than that, and they set their sights a little higher. They started to think, what if we could remove all of the requirements for the backend from the equation, so that a front-end developer basically just has to think about building the app that they care about and doesn't have to worry about the server or the backend or infrastructure or scaling or any of that. So they introduced the three core products that really make up what Firebase is. It's Firebase hosting, Firebase authentication, and the Firebase real-time database. And they built those three products so that they could abstract the hardest parts of the backend from the equation so that front-end developers didn't have to worry about it. With the Firebase real-time database, you're able to keep a bunch of different clients, up to 100,000 clients in sync in real time, and it is entirely managed for you. It's essentially a giant NoSQL database in the cloud. It's one giant JSON object. All of your data is stored in different properties in the object, and all of the data gets a unique key that's assigned to it when you push it to the database. Now that unique key really gives you some special properties. In fact, if you were to be on a phone using a Firebase powered app and you lost connectivity while you were driving through a tunnel, you could still send chat messages and wait for your phone to regain connectivity, and when it does, all of the messages that you received while you were out of service will be popped into the app right in the right order, and the messages that you typed while you were in the tunnel will be placed up into the database in the right order. So that all happens, all that magic happens with the unique identifier that Firebase puts into the database when it writes data. So that's pretty magic. But it gets even cooler than that. Firebase hosting allows you to deploy your static assets, like all of your HTML, CSS, JavaScript files, to a global CDN, which is all over the world, and it pushes all of your content to the edges of that CDN so that people, no matter where they live, will get your static assets as fast as possible. The cool thing about Firebase hosting is that SSL is included out the box. So basically, as soon as you create a new Firebase site, you say create new site on Firebase, you instantly have SSL. You've got a global CDN ready to be deployed to, and all you have to do is type in your command line Firebase deploy, and your static assets will be pushed into the cloud, delivered to all of the edges of the CDN, and available over SSL for anyone in the world. So for me, Firebase hosting is literally the easiest possible way to take a single page application or a marketing site or anything that's just static assets and push it out onto the web with really just a few minutes of work. And finally, one of the hardest parts of any application is authentication. Firebase makes that dead simple. Basically, you can authenticate your users with email and password, Google accounts, Facebook accounts, Twitter accounts, GitHub. You can even authenticate them with their phone by sending them one of those little text messages with 6 digits in it. You can do all that with Firebase with really just the click of a few buttons. You say, yes, I want to use Google as my auth provider, and then you put a little bit of code in your app that says, whenever the user clicks this button, send them over to Google, have them sign in, and then send them back to my app so that I can get them authenticated using Google as a federated provider. It's really fast and it's really easy, and it basically abstracts the whole authentication process so you don't have to worry about it. Again, making it the perfect choice for a front-end developer who doesn't want to have to worry about implementing OAuth. So in 2014, Firebase got acquired by Google, and they took those three products, Firebase hosting, Firebase authentication, and the real-time database, and they basically built 12 or 14 or 15 more products on top of it after they were acquired by Google. And now the Firebase family of products is a huge ecosystem, and all of those products work together. They've added everything from Google AdWords and AdMob to crash reporting and testing to cloud storage and cloud functions, which allow you to store images and photos on Google's exabyte scale cloud or run functions on Google's cloud so that you don't have to worry about backend servers. In May of 2017, Google hosted its annual developer conference, Google I/O, and Firebase announced yet another slew of new features And so I would keep your eye on Firebase if I were you, because I think it's only going to continue to grow and get more robust as the years go on. So that's Google Firebase. Hope you check it out, and thanks for watching.